To me, Mount Evans is not a company or an organization. It's a philosophy. It's a family of folks that join together to care for our dying and bereaved in our mountain communities. And I feel that we really make a significant impact in the lives of our patients by helping them live more fully, whether that be the weeks, days, hours they have left, helping them accomplish their goals, which could be something as monumental as walking a daughter down the aisle on her wedding day, camping underneath the stars one last time, or it can be even as simple as being at the bedside with a patient, holding their hand and saying nothing and just being a comforting presence as they transition out. If I can help a patient transition peacefully and with dignity, then I have done my job well and have given comfort to that family. So today we're going to go see Phil and Diane. Phil was diagnosed with a glioblastoma back in 2018, I believe. And he had 2 surgeries to remove the tumor, but it came back. He's 59 years old, so he's pretty young. He's got 2 children at home, an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old. So there's that family dynamic there. When I first met him, he's a jokester, and he would always tell me the funniest jokes. You could just see his personality shining through. So whenever he would tell me a joke, I knew that he was kind of stable and doing okay. Lately, he really can't remember anything, and he doesn't really make a lot of sense anymore. It was heartbreaking because he would forget that he had a brain tumor, and so when I would come up and introduce myself and tell him I was a hospice nurse, we'd kind of have to relive the fact that he had a brain tumor, which was a death sentence for him, and he'd get very emotional and teary-eyed and tell Diane that he was so sorry. So it was just a hard thing to watch every time we went in, and I can't imagine Diane having to tell him those things over and over again. Hi Diane, how are you?
When my husband got sick 2 years ago, we got a call from the doctor, and the first thing they told us was, "We have your diagnosis, don't Google it." Well, of course we did, and that was scary. He was fine really until the tumor got into the hippocampus, which is the memory section of the brain. And I was driving my kid to Boy Scouts, and the oncologist called and said, "There's nothing we can do. There's nothing else we can do. You need to put him in hospice." You have to have gratitude. There's a lot to be grateful for. I mean, I'm losing my husband, yes, but I'm gonna carry on what we came up here to do with the boys. And there's a lot that I want to share with them that I still can't.
Not really. Some coffee?
He's comfortable at home. And he still has a feeling of, this is where I live. He's losing that, but all the stuff that he knows is here. One of the things I was offered initially was to put him in like a nursing home, and that would be probably terrifying for him. And I just didn't want that to happen. So to have hospice available where we are, that's really, really nice. I met Kristine for the first time on the phone. She came in and she just knew what she needed to do, which was to take care of Phil. She's always very positive, knowing how to handle somebody with that kind of condition. I've done a lot of learning as we go, but it's nice to be able to talk to somebody with a medical background. They've got the expertise, they've got the resources available to them pretty much for whatever you need.
So we just left Phil and Diane's house. You know, it's so hard not to get attached to your patients, and it reminds me that our mission and our goal is to just make sure that whatever time a person has left on the earth is lived to the fullest, and then to support those that are left behind. We really only have one chance to get it right. We are going to go see Jane and Alan Ryder. They are very endearing patients of mine and those that care for them. Jane was diagnosed with endometrial cancer June of 2019. Had her major surgery in June, and they took out a bunch of her organs that were affected by her cancer. And she is such a lovely woman and is kind of what I feel like embodies what our goal for our hospice patients would be. Her nephrostomy tubes were due to be replaced in December, and she decided that she would rather let nature take its course. She just didn't want any more procedures done. She just wanted to live her life at home with her husband, with her daughter, with her lovely dogs, and not have any more pain or suffering in the hospital.
Working with Mount Evans has really been a pleasure, and that means a lot. You know, for these last few months or whatever is left, I feel like it's comfortable. I feel like I've been cared for, really cared for. It's part of a family almost, and that's what's made it possible, I think, to go through this. I'm very comfortable and happy.
I think that Jane has no fear of dying, but the specter of dying somewhere other than home, that's what really weighs heavier on her. So this home hospice program, although initially very intimidating for me, is really comforting for me and for her, and that's what it's all about.
Going in to see Jane and Alan, I was thinking about them last night and trying to figure out what really touched me about her, aside from just the amazing person she is. And she's the same age as my mother. And I know that if my mother was in her same shoes, she would want her life to go the same exact way as Jane's. And so there's that connection there. And yeah, we're not supposed to get too close to our patients, but it's inevitable that we fall in love with them. And we just want to make sure that we do whatever we can to make their time left on this earth the best it can be.